Good afternoon, Selvan. We will be starting the session now.
Message sent. Goodbye.
Alright, so let me share my screen with you. Good afternoon, Sadev. We are starting the session now. You can join. Bye.
Your call from phone number. Oh, message sent. Goodbye.
Alright. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Partha sir. Yeah, I got through all video and audio is good.
Okay, brilliant. Very good. Fantastic. Pankaj say yes, and then Sri says yes. Fantastic. Okay. Puru, I think, was saying something. Yes, Puru, can you repeat what you said?
What I was saying,
Yeah.
that the 2D for 2D, because 2 time frame is just
Yes, James, where are you?
Is there someone coming?
Sawai asito. So everyone is waiting for you. Are you coming or?
No, I'm waiting downstairs.
Okay, okay. I'll send it. Bye. James. Huh? So James is coming. Puru has gone downstairs to fetch him. So we'll wait for 1 minute. What a beautiful trade, orange juice. 2000 pips. $2,394 pips. From this point on 25th of March till date, we are running strong, very strong on this. This market opens at 00, which is midnight. The pips is 760 and the minimum is 0.75 volume. You have to write down. You can write down here. Those of you who are already doing commodity or finished commodity, this is a good practice to write it down. I'm just waiting for people to come. I will start. But the same thing I posted in the on our website as well on this one commodity. So this month commodity gave 2000 pips, orange juice. Last month live cattle gave almost 2000 pips. Hello James, how are you? Good to see you.
thank you, brother.
Fantastic. Thanks a ton, Puru, for helping James.
Sorry about that for the delay, but
Another problem. Jimmy coming?
no, some birthday party going on at the home. So he's
Birthday party is more important. Yes.
no, keeping the wife happy actually.
Keeping wife happy is more important than in forex than anything
Oh
else.
yes, yes, brother. I know that.
All right, so we have in house Puru, James, Onamitro. Lisa is sick, so she is not joining us today, and we have Pankaj, Sri, Vinod, and others will be joining. So we will be starting now. Okay, so Puru was saying something. Yes, Puru, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying, that the 2D, for the 2D time frame, the trades normally run into the next month. So
Yeah.
if we could
write about the previous one, when did you close? Because that would be interesting, because we wouldn't know that what happened to that one.
Okay, so if I have understood properly what Puru is saying, in the console, this is extremely important to understand what I write, because in 48 hours I write once a month, in 12 hour I write once a month, but in entire, when I write very, you have seen me for years together. When I speak or when I write, I do it with 1000% concentration. So when I write also, I do all most of the things which probably we have forgotten in that. So Puru is asking, so it is before I answer Puru's question and all of your questions, I would again request you to please read very religiously what I write and ask questions if you have not understood. So this is monthly, and this is monthly, and this is weekly, and this is from time to time, every now and then. Like yesterday I saw a head and shoulder on euro, I posted it on the asset class evaluations. So Puru is saying on this 48-hour trading model, or for any other trading model, if the last trade which is running at the end of the month, like this one, the last sample setup was running at the, like this one here, which happened on this 18th of April, this was still running on 30th of May. So Puru, you are asking I should comment on this on the next one. That's it, eh? Okay, so I'll
These
do
2 days,
that.
the 12 hour normally doesn't matter. No? But 2 days normally, because there most of the time you are running index, so we don't know, we lose track of those things.
Yeah, so that's correct. So I'll put that one. That's a good feedback. So I'll keep this alive for the next month commentary. So this one, Aussie dollar last trade was running, Euro Aussie last trade was running at the end of the month, means last month, which is April. This one, Euro CAD, the last sample set was still running. So Puru is quite having a good observation there. So three of them were running. And then let's see, Euro USD, the last sample was running 4, and this GBP UD last sample was running 5th. So the last month was a quite a month. GBP CHF 7th last sample set was running. GBP USD last sample set was running. So that's it. Out of 8, 7 setups on the last one, of course, not the middle ones, but the last one was still running. So Puru is having a good point to actually go and comment on those things. So that's very good understanding. Okay, thanks for that, Puru. And I should congratulate. I don't know whether I should not, for privacy reason, I will not take the name. But one of our client here, I don't call them client, I call them student. Even my 84-year friend, Dr. Fred Weston, I call him a student. And the advantage of Australia is we call anyone and everyone with their name. We don't call Mr. Doctor or engineer, whatever it is, professor. We don't say that. All right, so one of our student here has gone full-time trading. Congratulations to him and all the best to him, because this is a very big decision. Because I remember taking that decision 8 years. When I took that decision, I thought that I would not survive 8 days or 8 minutes, but I survived 8 years. I'm still looking the same or better. I'm still having as much blood, as much flesh, as much bone, as much cavities. Everything what I was having 8 years back, everything I have the same thing. Touch wood, I still survive, and we are actually going good with our students, with our clients, and with our regulatory authorities. ASIC, touch wood, we did fantastic well with them in ASIC, and probably I am the first Bengali in the whole of Australia who is running this financial education service. I don't know anyone who is running, not even any Indian who is running, but we are doing good. That's good. We are now all international citizens, and the best thing is we have applied. We will be probably opening our second company and third company and fourth company and so on and so forth. Our second company will be coming very soon, and the third company will also be coming very soon. And you will be probably understanding what are those companies. One will be the mutual fund operation, and one will be the proprietary trading, and one will be educating on yourself. So those are the companies which we are thinking to float. and in near future we'll be floating those companies. And sometime my wife will, she is here, my wife will help me to float some of these companies, and she is always there. Okay, so thank you for so long being with us so patiently. And as I started this conversation, one of our student has gone full time, and it's a big decision, it's a fantastic decision, and all the best to him. Sri is saying, my apologies for wrong spelling. What spelling? Hell all. Unbelievable.
I'm sorry. Actually, I normally write a hi all, but this time I didn't. I mean, got into a mood and I wanted to say hello all.
When I was saying almost every good thing about ourselves, then you said, all right. Bino says, good afternoon. And Pankaj says, I'm in this orange juice trade. Wow, Pankaj, you are really doing good on. I really appreciate your effort, Pankaj, because I know how you busy people are with medicine as your profession. You are all time busy. And Pankaj is one of the students who gets almost 80% or 90% or 100% of the trades which we take, or which we generate as a company. NP Financial generates hundreds of trades in a year, isn't it? Pankaj is one of them who takes very high percentage of, I'm talking in front of him, a very high percentage of those trades he takes. So that's fantastic, Pankaj. And Pankaj took this one, orange juice, and he's still running from 26th, the same day. Pankaj is still running and is enjoying 2000 pips. I know him because he has not yet completed commodity. He's doing commodity, right? But he took this live cattle. He took this live cattle and he closed it here with 1600 pips. And now from here, from his comment, you can see he is writing that I am in the trade. Thanks a lot, Pankaj, for telling us, and it gives a lot of confidence to your fellow traders, because as a trader you should help your traders, as in medicine you help. I don't know how much you help each other. I think so you help, one doctor helping other. That's why you go to China and all those countries to learn and help each other and learn from each other. We used to go only for fun when we were engineers, don't we? We don't learn anything from any trip, whether it is in engineering or in any profession or any corporate. Okay, C is writing pattern question. But yeah, before answering C's question, I should congratulate again the newcomer who has joined the elite club of full-time trading. You are seeing me for 8 years. I am trading full-time. I'm still alive. And you see Pankaj taking 100% of our trades, almost very high percentage of trade, very similar to us, exactly as according to us. He was not like this. I'm again telling you, he was not like this. Like all of us were not like this. 1 or 2 years back, he was not like that. He was missing all our trades. Now he's taking all of our trades. So that means he has done a lot of self improvement. Congratulations to Pankaj. So I hope all of you sometimes, if you are passionate about trading, will be become full time trader, or if not, then probably will have a good lifestyle out of your trading. And lifestyle is, I define lifestyle as getting more and more time to give yourself and to your friends and relatives and your wife and your family. That is good lifestyle for me. And I am very fortunate. I spend 24 hours with with my wife, because she comes here with me. She goes she is in my home, she is in my office, she is in my heart, she is in my soul, and she is in my spirit. So probably very very difficult, touch it, to get someone 24 hours. That's very nice of her. Punk Sri is asking pattern question. Patterns like head and shoulder, double bottom has to be observed on all time frames, including on line chart. Not all time frames, specifically on the monthly, weekly, and then on the line chart in that sequence. So if you see, first you should see on the line monthly, then you should go to the weekly, then you should go to the line chart. So that is the pattern sequence. Then he is continuing with the question, but the entry, stop and PO is what? Profit something, profit order. We say we take profit. We generally say TP, take profit. Has to be respected according to the respective time frame. Yes, that's correct. What Sri is asking, if we are taking a trade on head and shoulder on forex like euros in front of us, because this is happening as we speak now. Tomorrow if this low is taken out, tomorrow if this is the last Friday, so if tomorrow is Monday, if the low is taken out, then the profit target can be 153.83. So when you are entering here, 3, to answer your question, so the low of this bar is 58.44. So low of the last bar, which closed on last Saturday morning, that means yesterday, was 158.44 minus, for this is weekly, so make it 40 pips. So you enter at around 157.90 or 158.04, depending on how much 40 or 50 pips it we are giving away, because this is big time frame, weekly. So you put a trade here, and your stop loss should be at this point, which is high, previous high. Don't go up to that point, that is too much. You go up to this point and then put a take profit target of 153.87, 153.83 plus 40 pips, because it is weekly. So to answer that question, so yeah, that is the answer to your question, Sri. Did I answer your question,
Do we
Sri?
need to see if it happens a snapback, or do we need to see a low bar, down bar, or what?
Yeah.
Because these are weekly, it's too big.
Mm.
Sell on that.
Puru is adding something to it. Puru is saying, do we have to see a reversal in the lower time frame, for example, 2 day or 1 day, 200 moving average, which is a hell of a thing, or opposite turning point, like in a line chart? Yes, but see those, Puru, you have to see those near the low, near 153.83. So for example 154, 154.50, if you are seeing those things, then get out, not before that. Did you understand, Puru, what I said?
That is a target, isn't it?
Yeah.
I am talking about now. If tomorrow, even if low taken out and it has a reverse bar, up bar, not up bar, but bullish bar.
For going long.
For going short, we are talking short.
Yeah, yeah.
Going short. But tomorrow, if a daily or 12 hour or 2D happens a bullish bar, then still we take the trade, or we just come out of that, because it can come snap inside that wedge line.
Okay.
That can happen in a daily bar. Commitment in the longer term, weekly can go down, but decision is made on the daily, because we can't wait for a week to take a call. So tomorrow bar comes and snapbacks, then we probably avoid that.
Yeah. James, you are asking?
No, that's fine. I was just.
You are asking any question?
No,
or-
no, I was getting.
Same question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that he just added like a snap thing, no? So
Yeah, snapback, yeah.
So it can happen. So.
Yeah, I'll explain what Puru has asked, and James had seconded that same question. But before that, Sri has written something. Sri has written, thank you, Pankaj, for sharing your high profitable trades. That will give us a lot of confidence and motivation. That's good. Thank you, Sri. Thank you, Pankaj. Pankaj says, we had head and shoulder on Euro Aussie 2 day. Yes, correct, as well. And gave us entry. Yes, that is the answer. Actually, I wanted to give it to Puru. Pankaj has already given, but I'll explain a little bit further. Pankaj has told that same head and shoulder has come in 2 day and given us the entry on 26. Puru is asking a little bit different, which I'll explain. 26th of April from second shoulder. We'll go and see what Pankaj is saying. And Sri says, some of the sample setups I've observed pattern on 2D and 1D charts. Yeah, 2D is all right. 1D only 200 I see. Other than 200, I don't see anything on the daily chart. But yes, head and shoulder can also be formed on daily and 2 day chart. So I'll first see what Pankaj said, 26th entry on Eurosi, and then come back to Puru, what Puru is saying. So on Euro Aussie, so let's go to our 2 day. And straight go to Euro Aussie. So this is Euro Aussie. I would prefer to go to the my this chart, which is only bar chart. Yeah, sure. This is weekly. As you can see, this is a weekly head and shoulder which I plotted and printed on the asset class evaluation, but Pankaj said that it happened on the 2 day also. So this is the 2 day chart which Pankaj said, and the 2 day head and shoulder happened on this to this. And am I correct, Pankaj? If I am not, tell me if I am not correct. So I think Pankaj was referring to this one. Sample setup on
Yes, right.
yeah. So this is the one Pankaj was referring, and Pankaj was referring to 26. Yeah, that's this one. Yeah, did you take this trade, Pankaj?
I did.
Okay, so you did on head and shoulder, did you?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant.
It was for 2 TP setup.
No, it was not a 2 TP setup. 2 TP, let's go to line chart to see that 2 TP 26 was here and 26 was here. It is not a 2 TP, it is very close to 2 TP. I remember Puru asking me same question, is it a 2 TP? I said no. Pankaj also confirmed that it is not a 2 TP. Because why it is not a 2 TP? Because it did not.
The third bar is above the line, more than 50% of it.
That's correct. Same thing on a
It was
Mitro.
also a double top on line chart.
Same thing on a Mitro also said. This is not according to our rule of 70% of the first rule is you need to remember. Very good to see James back here. Actually, I am seeing James. I used to one thing actually he did good. He because of his job change and probably business change, he's probably doing business. Because of his change in business, he took some time, but he did not keep listening to us. I keep on sending him the recording, and good to see him today back in the class. So Pankaj and Anamitra saying this is not 70%. Pankaj is saying this is not 70%. First rule is you need to remember. That's why I said James because you are coming after some time. First rule is the TP open and close should be below the line. So that is number one. So doesn't matter what is the percentage, but as long as the open and close is below or above the line, it can be 30% like this fellow. It's not 70%, actually very close to 60-70%, but the open and close is above. So the open and close is above, and this one open and close is below, but this one open and close is not below. So when the open and close is not on the same, then we go for the 70%, which is this one, so that's why it is not a 2 TP. But Pankaj took this on the head and shoulder on this one here, on the low taken out. Puru is saying on the, if I make this weekly, Puru is saying, if I have understood him correctly, you are asking for a early entry, are you, Puru?
No, I am asking that even if you take this entry, but it can have a bar which can be a bullish bar which can take your 20 pips below that line and go up and again probably cross that again by this line, or may not, or it may touch, whatever happens. So in that case, what happens, because this is a weekly bar, it's to cover that, it will not snap back on a weekly bar, but it might, but because
I change it to 2 day.
2 days, yeah. So the 2 days already seen a lower bar, not on the head.
Today is printing down bar consecutively because this is down bar and this is down bar. Yeah, this is down bar.
The close has been now only, not that one, because the last bar is only closing outside that head and shoulder.
Yeah,
Not that one. That didn't close outside the.
of course it did.
No, if you connect this to bottom line.
Why should I connect? This is the correct one.
The bottom. This.
No, that's a wrong one. I understand what you are saying, but that's a wrong one. This is
the same
incorrect.
thing you are looking in the weekly. This is the same line.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just.
Okay. Yeah. Go. Now I get your point.
So
Yeah.
that's what this weekly is happening.
I got your
So
point.
if now it's very to take and go and it does snap back, then are you still entering into that short? Because it might
Yes.
go 20 down and go back and wait. Then you should avoid or wait for the high taken out.
Okay.
If the high taken out, then you quit.
Okay, so good that Pankaj realized the head and shoulder, and actually it happened on this sample setup also on 2nd of May. But Puru is asking probably theoretical question, but that's a valid theoretical question. This is the line which is coming from the weekly, if you remember. The weekly actually had from this, which is 12th of March. 12th of March to say 9th of April. So if I change this to 2 days, that is the same one, 12th of March. So Puru says, if I this is the same weekly line which is coming. Now this is for the first time. What Puru is telling is, if I draw a crack and snap back here, so if this bar is like this one, is a up bar,
No, not upper. Upper there is
any
not
bar,
entered.
huh?
Is low taken out.
Low taken out
But come go.
and
There is
come
outer
go
bar. You can say outer bar.
outside bar.
Outside.
So this is low is 58.44, then we'll make it 58. So you actually can actually play with this as I am doing in front of you. I'm making a theoretical analysis, that is outside bar. Puru's question is like very theoretical, but yes, possible. So Puru is saying, if we have entered, Puru is saying, if we have not entered, are we entering on this bar? Is this correct?
We already entered because it triggered probably.
Okay, so
It
Puru is
triggered
saying,
now, but it went back and out. Now in a situation where what to do, because it triggered. It was
okay,
outer bar.
Puru always asks this, but I always encourage questions. But his question is always, can I have the cake as well as eat it? He always asks me the same question. My answer remains the same. Alright, so Puru has entered the trade here. That's good. And Puru has seen an outside bar here. That's good. Now his question is, what should I do? I would say, hold on to your trade till the very reason for taking this trade is invalidated, which is here, which is this line broken. If this line is broken, then only you will close the trade, otherwise not. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Why such 3 bars?
Whatever, it can take 30
Why,
bars.
no, why not 1 bar and high taken out and put up?
Yeah, Puru is asking, can I get out here because it is high, up bar, high taken out? I said no, because the very purpose of taking this trade is this structure.
Weekly structure, not a
Yes, so that structure has to be broken. That structure has to be broken to close this trade. That's a good question, and that's a good answer. Did I answer your question, Puru? Yes. Satisfying Puru is very difficult because he always tries to have the cake as well as eat it. Alright. No. I'm just joking. Alright. So we'll start with your any other questions you have asked, or let me go to your question. Pankaj says yes. Sri says, when you are in trade, inside or outside bar equal to no action. Okay, Sri is saying something, adding to you something, your understanding, which Puru always, I think, remembers. Inside, outside is no action. All right.
little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So if you see last week, as Puru observed, I also observed one thing. Puru observed 7 out of 8 currency pairs. The last trade was still running on the end of the month. What I observed, that 50%, 4 out of 8 currency pairs had the first trade of the month, or the first 2 trades of the month not working, and the last trade actually working. So what does it mean? Why I am saying this? Because if you have taken this first trade, which is on this date for Aussie dollar in front of us, so if we have taken this trade, which is on 10th of April, then we have to what we have to do technically, we have to close the trade and reverse it on this line when we have a line chart turning point. But most of the people, what you do, those of you who are still struggling with the amateur understanding of the market and emotion, first is emotion, then market, then most of the people, I have seen personally, will take this trade, will not close the trade there 33 pips, will get a stop out at 138 pips, 28 pips, and not take this trade for 234 pips. That is the mistake which I am seeing for last 8 years, and that I call amateur behavior, and that in technical psychology, or what is the psychology, behavioral psychology, the term is known as disposition effect. You know that disposition effect? I said it's more of a technical term. In technical terminology, not technical, but in behavioral finance, we call it disposition effect. I don't know the medical term of it.
So it's basically like you have taken it, that's why you just wanted to get it right.
No, disposition effect or this effect what I showed you, not the important, the name is not important. The important is, I'll come, I'll first, before I forget, the important is holding to your two things, holding to your losses long and taking your profit promptly. For example, taking profit with 20 pips or 50 pips and holding losing trades 200 pips. Yeah, that's a criminal effect, criminal thing to do in trading. That is very often people do that. The one which I in front of us, which I have seen, people will take this trade as it is, they will take, and they will not reverse the position with 33 pips loss. What they will do, they will wait for this trade to get stop loss 128 pips,
And it is too late to take down trade also.
and then it is too late to take the down trade. They missed out this opportunity, which not only has erased that loss of 130 but has given us 239 pips profit. So that is trading, and most of us in amateur phase of our trading life, including me, have done it. Guilt, is it?
Guilty.
Guilty.
I sold it, but I didn't buy the down trade. So I
Yeah.
bought
Ah.
that 33,
Yeah, I
but I
sold
didn't
it.
take the down trade.
Isn't it? Yeah. So people here are. I'll come back to you, Puru. So Anamitra is saying that he is honest, and he's saying that I did the same thing.
I sold it.
I s-
I
Same
with
for me.
33 loss,
I got that.
but I didn't take the down trade.
Okay, Panamitra
sold
closed
it.
the trade here,
Yes.
but Anamitra did not take the trade
Actually,
here.
what I did, I put a stop loss below
Did
the
it?
bar.
What
I
Puru did?
No, I did not went to stop loss. I closed below minus 10, 20.
Come again?
I put a stop limit.
You
of
went
below-
here.
No, I went there, but
And
I put
you-
a stop limit below that, and it got triggered. But I did not take that because I did not have an opposite triggered trade downside. So I
Okay.
didn't go. But the losses were less.
Okay.
But I lose our down trade.
Okay,
Because
so-
S2. But the problem comes when you are in a you got S2 and you can't just keep on changing, because if you change like that and tomorrow your situation will arrive, you lost the first opportunity, you got a second loss now and you are nowhere. So there where the fear comes, where understand my point, because you are in the trade, you got a setup. So to immediately turn your back position, and then again you see something is going wrong, so you don't know where you are going. So you fear that your first is the right one rather than the second what is giving you the right one. The first setup always we have in mindset, it will be the right one. So
Yeah. So three things discussed here. Those of you who are in not in house, remote, listen, could not hear them out because I am in front of the speaker. Sorry, mic. Anamitra said he took that trade and closed the trade here at 33 pips stop loss, 33 pips loss. And Puru said he took this trade and closed low taken out with a minimum loss of 20 pips. But both of them did not take this trade. That's an honesty, and that's and Puru added to that that if again he in forex, what I used to say, I don't say nowadays, but those of you who are more than 4 years with me probably have sometime have listened me saying that you have to be a market chameleon. I don't use that term now, but I used to say that you have to be a market chameleon. So whenever market changes color, you have to change the color. So that's what I do, especially in forex, not in commodity, because in commodity market is not that chameleon as in forex. In forex, because it is a $5 trillion market changes very frequently and very now and then and very swiftly. So in that case, what Puru said that that's a wrong thing, that probably because we have taken this trade, we will go, market will go long and we will not reverse the trade. It's a wrong concept, and it's an amateur concept. Because why this is more relevant to go short, because this is already in a downtrend. When we take this up here, we are going opposite, we are doing an opposite trade, we are doing a counter trade. When we are doing a counter trade, we need to see the T1 T2 to be broken, P1 P2 to be broken. Otherwise, immediately reverse when the trend is resuming its impulsive move. So when the trend is impulsive, then take the trade, forget about what you have done, forget about what you have lost, 20 pips, 30 pips, 120 pips, doesn't matter, just reverse it, and you will have a more probability to win this.
But Partha, that STO didn't happen at that position.
No, it's not
73.30.
LCTP. It's an LCTP.
But LCTP happened at position which was 7672,
Yeah.
which was again a second bar if you see that. So you almost lost, you are close to your stop loss and you did not trigger that one. So how that
Come again?
was, because the actual LCTP happened at
76.
76, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you see 7676 is that bar is actually the second bar of that 2D bar.
So what is
You did
the?
not take the S2, you did not close your position.
That's correct.
Did you close at 7676? You put both order, is it?
That's
the
correct.
best one, is it?
Puru is asking when to close the trade of long and when to enter. This is a very regular question, but it keeps on coming like dandruff. This question comes every time. How to enter, when to enter on 2TP.
I answer that. I know that one. But
Now tell me when to. Yeah.
the 7676. That is
Okay,
the
that's good.
answer.
That's
But
good.
no question
Puru
is
understand that.
that is too close to your stop loss. So then.
What stop loss?
No,
What you talking? No.
So
18.
like when it is too close to stop loss, then doesn't matter.
Doesn't
because
matter.
we're getting that.
First of all, he's saying the wrong thing. It's not close to stop.
No, it's not less than 50%. You already lost 0.5, right? So rather than. Yeah,
So again, that's a psychology thing.
So
happening, like
0.3% whether to lose or
we are
not.
fuming about the losses and forgetting about the.
Yeah.
the-
Yes. That same disposition effect.
Yeah.
Actually, it's very related to our what is that? Amygdala getting hijacked. Very close. Very subtle things. Those of you who are medicine practitioner probably are doing better because you understand both sides. It's of mind and trading. But yes, so we should take this trade no matter. And the correctness, the question which comes keep on coming, but Purva has already answered that question. How to take a trade on 2TP or LCTP? You need to wait for the later close, LATER, my pronunciation. So the line chart closes here at 76.76 and the bar chart closes here 77.26. You must not enter at 77.26. You must enter at 76.76. Why not 20 pips minus? Because there is a gap here. Can you see this? So you should enter, theoretically you should enter high, which is 78.02 minus 100, which is 77.02 minus 20, which is 82. So you should enter at 82. Yes, 6 pips.
So the close position you are taking minus 70.
High. On the high of this one.
High minus 70.
High minus 120.
120.
50, 50 and 20.
This, you know that LCTP bar was the outer bar, so wouldn't you ignore that?
No. Puru is saying this LCTP bar is an outside bar. I say outside bar is not important. Yeah. Pankaj, you are asking any question? I saw some sound. Anyone? Sri? Or did you written something? Let me see. Okay. Pankaj says very well said. I am still recovering from mistakes like this. But improving. Yes, you people are honest. One good thing is that you people are honest. That is one thing which is a trait in any other business or any other trait on any sphere in life. Honesty is the best thing. So that good. That yes, good thing. I learned that day you did a mistake. That's why you are human. And now that you are understood that mistake and try to recover that mistake, you are a superhuman. A small thing which I keep on picking up wherever I learn, wherever I hear. Thanks, Pankaj, for saying. Well said. Sri is saying AUD USD 2D 18th April observed a slingshot bearish close 30. Good. Let's see what Sri is saying. Sri is saying 18th April. Wow. Let's see. Slingshot. Wow. That's very nice, Sri. 18th April, this bar. Wow. So he actually went on this bar without LCTP. That's a very good understanding, Sri. I know you are harping your knowledge on this hidden divergence, which is a very tricky thing. Those of you who have already forgotten what is the hidden divergence, hidden divergence is price is making lower high, although that's not a classic one, but I will try to see through Sri Utagi's eyes. hidden divergence is price is coming down as in downtrend. As in downtrend, it should do a lower low and lower high, and but the divergence line is doing a higher. So that's a hidden divergence. So if Sri has got this context and this context, so price has come down, but this fellow from 46.54 went up to 40. Yeah, that's a superman eye. That's a brilliant to the power infinity observation, Sri. And I would not have picked my eyes would not have picked up that.
Wow.
That's a very good, Sri. That's a excellent award winning trade here.
So you're getting divergence and we're getting LCTP. That's
Yeah.
it gone.
So James is saying you've got a divergence, hidden divergence, which is very difficult to. I'm very honest. I would not have picked this divergence. Otherwise, I would have written that. But Sri, I'm very pleased that you have got it right now and you took that trade on hidden divergence. And James is saying hidden divergence plus LCTP plus 2TP is a very high probability trade.
It doesn't matter. Most of us wouldn't have seen the
Hidden.
so we can't say that it would have been stronger signals
Mm.
because most of it wouldn't
No,
have seen
yeah.
that signal.
But like for Sri, it was hard because he had
He
observed
saw
that.
it.
Hmm. I know Sri asked me last 2-3-4 months. He asked a lot of questions on this hidden divergence, but it means that you actually understood that, and now not only understood, but also you are taking advantage of that understanding, interpretation, and implementation. I am very happy on that implementation part, Sri. Congratulations to you. Good job done.
Same thing happened the previous two picks.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Now Puru would be interesting on this. Everyone would be me too. So this is also a hidden divergence. I don't know, Sri, whether you have taken that or not. Very nice, very
Repetition
nice.
of the same thing.
Continuation of same thing. Very nice, very well done. This hidden divergence is very powerful, but very hidden, very hidden, very hidden. There cannot be any excuse for me not to see that. I can say I see 30 markets in 30 minutes, that's why I missed that, but that's only an excuse and a lame one. But congratulations to you, Sri, you did a good job. Okay, very good. Sri, keep on doing that. Sri says, thank you, sir, it was always your guidance. No, it's your effort, mate. Take the pride on yourself. Okay.
18th April is still running. It did not close on 30 May.
No, I should close the trade.
The 2nd May.
Yeah, I should close this trade on 2nd May because on a divergence, or you can close the trade here with all sellers out.
Because I don't see the peak crop exactly matching that.
Come again?
That is not exactly a divergence.
No, it will never. Huh?
That's not a divergence.
Why not?
Really.
Puru is asking this
Because,
divergence. Why not? This is 100% theoretical.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. It's a down, no, but top is down. Yeah? The second bar is down. If it's
What?
the Top,
This one is a swing low.
so,
This is a swing low.
that is one. And
Yeah.
the previous one. Yeah, so that is not a lowest point.
Puru is correct here. Puru is correct here. So Puru is saying this is not a divergence. No, I would also agree that this is not a divergence because this is not a drop. So this is not at all a divergence, zero divergence. But this is a all.
No, but it went into next month.
Hmm?
It went into next month. So when you open this bar,
Hmm.
it was already on 2nd May, so you could still hold on. And now probably can still have something to left. But it is at a resistance line, so that's a bit
Support, you mean?
support. Yeah.
Hmm.
So maybe it can go.
So this is a big support. I close all the trades here if you remember.
Close above and high taken out on it.
Yeah,
So
I closed the trade if you remember on our trade ideas. We are again started doing good in trade ideas. And one more thing which will do good in trade ideas actually is for our platinum clients, I will be dividing company wise platinum clients, gold clients and silver like that. The difference should be platinum clients will be defined as those of them who have actually all done, like many of you have already done commodity, forex, shares, and then candlesticks, Fibonacci, and intraday, and so on and so forth. Those of you who are already done this, so that will be 80% of one criteria. And the second criteria, you have to actually, because we are doing a win-win situation, you have to actually be trading a sizable amount with our with our preferred clients. So two things you have to do. First thing, you have to do most of the developmental thing with us, number one, and number two, you have to be with our preferred client with Go Market, in which you will be getting a high percentage of your this thing commissions. So if you satisfy these two requirements, we will be putting you in platinum and we will be taking special care of you, and that special care will start very soon, and will be giving you special 20 trades here per month, almost 15 to 20 trades here every month. And if you are taking 200 pips every trade, average 10 trades, so you'll be making $1 a trade, almost $2,000, plus getting your this thing back, commissions back. So that is good amount of money. So that will depend on your trading volume with Go Market and doing courses, all the developmental courses with us. So that's one discussion which I wanted to tell you. So those will be advantage of. So we close the trades on our here. You can see here we close the Aussie trade, we close the yen trade, and we close the euro trade. We close 3 trades on the same time, exact same time. I don't think exact yen actually closed a little bit later, but we closed this one here 213 pips a little bit later, but 148 pips we closed on that day. And then on that 180 trade on the euro USD, we closed that one. So we closed when we saw this, we closed Aussie, we closed euro short, and 2 days after I closed the yen trade. When we are in euro and yen, I'll be discussing. Any other question on Aussie? Otherwise I'll be going to euro Aussie. So going to euro Aussie. Pankaj is saying, is Aussie setting up LCTP long? Okay, Pankaj asked a question on Aussie. Double bottom at 75. Yeah, very good, excellent understanding. So Pankaj is saying, is it a double setting up for a 2TP? See, this close, this open here, the line chart is, can you read the reading and tell me the open and close above or below the line? So line chart is 7530, isn't it? Line and open,
7530
so it's above,
above
and close
7539.
above. Both open and close is above, but not 70% of the bar is above. So in this case, Pankaj is asking, is it a possible setup to go long? I would agree with him. If this bar closes above this line, it has already opened above the line. So open and close above the line, and it is coming after a good amount of downtrend, as you can see, almost very good amount, 700 pips, which is 10% of this instrument. And if you want to see more data, just put on what is your birth month or date. Even if you don't believe or believe in numerology, it actually happens. All right, this is the low I was seeing, as I think Pankaj is also seeing. So yeah, so that's a possible yes. To answer your question, my answer is yes. I'll be interested to go long. If this is closing here and the high is taken out, I'll be long here 75.65. That is your question, Pankaj. Okay, see, Bob, yeah, that's correct. Pankaj says perfect, just as I thought. Where see, Pankaj again is actually 100% matching with our thinking, which is I actually from my heart I actually think, and not what is the English, I don't know, expect all of you to think exactly what we think, like Pankaj is doing. Sri is saying close at S2 plus 20 on 30. Okay, that was with Aussie trade which is discussed. On trade idea, could you also explain status, running, close, and open, please? And also action, open. So many questions. All right. this internet is such a thing and this website is such a thing, it will always go in ever ending, so it will never end. And that is one more thing, there is no perfection in this entire world. Okay, so to answer your question on this chart is, this open means price objective is open. I always keep the price objective open, I never keep a price objective close. Target is always open, that's why you will see all open, see all except when, only when we had Donald Trump win the election. That's when on that entire month on December I gave all the things as fixed price, and that's humongous. We enter at 10,751, close 11,200, so that is 200 pips. This is 500 pips. This is 300 pips. Humongous trades were here when Donald Trump actually won. This is not my credit, this is actually credit goes to Donald Trump, because he declared that $3 trillion his party would be investing in infrastructure. That is the market here. Every trade we took in indices was a winner, unbelievably so. So that is not me, that is not NP Financials, that is Donald Trump and the market. So if you go back to November 2016, you see market is one way boom, so that is the only time when I give the take profit as a fixed. Otherwise I keep always the price objective as open and book the profit when the close above high taken out or close below low taken out. I follow only one rule nowadays, as I think Anamitra also follows and Puru is trying to follow. Only one rule. I don't know what is your rule, but my rule is close below low taken out, get out, close above high taken out, get out. So that open means this. So that answer one question. Okay, number one. Number two, running. What does running means under status? Running means this trade is open, this trade idea is open. It does not matter whether it got trigger or not, because this is a very simplistic matrix and I don't want to complicate this, because this matrix is for our all the clients, international clients, not only EU, but all the hundreds of clients who have given us $45.90. If you give us only $45.90, we give you access to our trade ideas. So those international clients who has gone here, client arena, and paid us only $45.90 per month, they got this idea. So that's why we have kept it very simple. We don't want to confuse to make this matrix complex. So the running means this trade idea is running. It does not mean that trade is running or trigger or not trigger. So that is your second question. And closed means this close means close in status means close, as simple as that. Close in action means I have to close when it is closing. That is not for you. I don't know what you can see. Can you see close here? Can you see the same closed? Yeah. Okay, you can't place anything here, but I can press here and then put the profit and loss and then close it, submit in to close it. So that is not for you. I think the system will not allow you even if you try. So I have explained open, I have explained running, and I have explained close. Did I answer your question, Sri?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, don't ask me this question again. It takes time to explain. Yes, I could have made my website perfect, but I never believe in perfection. It never exists. That's why I always say it is a probabilistic game. Okay, so all your questions done. Then we'll go to Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, we had one trade on this one, which is 10th of April, which has to be reversed on 18th of April, which has to be reversed again unless and until we are booking profit again on 2nd May. So this is a market instrument in one asset class, one instrument which will go bad. Like this instrument in front of us, probably I don't know. I need your honest answer. how much you made or lost on this instrument for the last month. One instrument called Euro Aussie, one asset class called Forex. So two trades did not make much money, but the running trade can make money if the reward to risk according to our head and shoulder is working good. We are targeting 53, now we are at 58, so we are targeting 500 pips there. So that 500 pips actually will erase any losses if you had. Now I will wait for your answers. How much money you lost or cost of business you had, or how much? Pankaj, Puru, Sri, what did you do? Talk, talk. Don't expect me to talk for 2 hours. I'll die. Not anyone have taken any trade?
No, I think both the trade.
Papa,
Yes.
the first two trades gave me $7.
Seven, seven.
$7, yes.
Okay.
And the last one is running.
Wow. So even if this bad trades, Pankaj managed to make $7. Congratulations.
$1 in one and 6 in the second one.
Sorry, slow.
$1 in the first trade and $6 in the second trade.
$1. That's again fantastic. You made $1 in first trade, $6 in second trade, and the third trade is running. Congratulations, Puru.
I think first trade was wrong and gone. I don't know, maybe close to CAD. The second one was less loss. So I did not right time. I did not put the SK, that's the problem.
Okay.
Both were not COB.
Okay. So both for Puru actually he did not face any COB on this. That's good. That means what? It is actually you people are improving. That's very good. Excellent. And anyone else have done anything on this? This is actually the test of a trader. How much it is always trading is such. It is not. It is always, remember this statement is very important statement which I am going to make. It's not the amount of money you are making, it's the amount of less money you are losing. That's the success in trading. That's why I asked this question, to open question to all of you, how much you did and what you did on this Euro Aussie, because this Euro Aussie bad trades will come now and then, every now and then it will come. So it is important not to lose much money, as both of you said. Puru did not have a cost of business, and Pankaj managed to make $7, and the third trade is running in profit. So it is always important how less you lose, not how much you are gaining. That is never a trading, because the gain will automatically come, like I showed you in live cattle 1600 pips, orange juice 2000 pips, Donald Trump 20,000 pips. This will come. This will come if you continuously to follow the rules and keep on trading. Big trades will come, but the challenge is how to not to lose more money in a bad situation like us in front of us. Okay, that's very good. Good job done. Excellent. EuroCAD. Yeah, so Pankaj said two trades gave me $7. Last one running. Sri says Euro D 1D short. I don't understand what you Sri said. You did short 1 day. Okay. Pankaj says commodities are working much better for me in last 3 months than Forex in last 4 years. Wow. That's why this is exactly the reason why we started other asset classes, because I know in Australia all the institutions who are our competitors, they only do Forex, and they will charge you 25,000, then 20,000, then 10,000, then 20,000, then 20,000 to teach you Forex, 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 and as if Forex is the end of your life. No, that not like that. And probably NP Financials is the only institution who trades 5 asset classes, and wherever I go, whether it is in world number one IG or Australia number one or oldest one Go Market, one of the directors will ask me, how can you trade all the asset class, and I have not seen anyone doing trading all the asset classes. They say, according to them, it is a mistake. According to them, you cannot be trading all the asset classes and make money. according to them, because they don't trade themselves. That their problem is they don't trade themselves. So that's why we started all the asset classes: forex, commodity, shares, bond, and indices, and intraday. And in front of you, comments are coming from our students. In 3 months, what Pankaj did in one asset class called commodity, which is doing good, in forex in last 4 years. Yeah, like shares are fantastic now. Commodity is wonderful now. Forex is not good, as not good. Forex is never very best, but yeah, that's good. Very good, Pankaj. Good. Eurocad.
I took that 26 April as to.
We had one trade on second trade on 18th, third trade on 26th. Puru took the second, last trade on
That
26th.
one I closed actually.
You closed?
On all silver out, I was confused. I was closed on that one.
Okay, Puru thought that this is all sellers out. I disagree with him technically, because this is not happening touching the support. It has to touch the support and do the declare. Also, like this one in front of you, Puru. This fellow is a much better example than this fellow, because this fellow touch and close above. This fellow did not touch. So that's why I disagree with technically that this is all sellers out, because touching to me is a very critical observation which I have been doing for last so many years. So touching is like this one, Puru.
No,
In
I closed on the last one.
see this one here, this did not touch. Can you see that? Same thing happened here. This fellow did not touch. And if you think this is all sellers out or this one,
This one, last one.
okay. So if the first of all, this is not an all sellers out, because all sellers out has to be a big bar, number one, and number two, the close has to be very close to the low. This is at the middle, so this is not an all sellers out.
And what about the wick actually? How long it can go?
How so? Huh?
The wick, how long it can go down?
Weak? No, for all sellers out.
Yeah.
No,
For example, if you
there
say,
should not be any weak.
For example,
Like this is here,
yeah.
is all sellers out.
No, that is clearly, but sixth April. It's not really six. Yeah.
Six, this one,
Sixth April. Next part. Yeah. Fourth. Yeah.
this one.
Yeah. So is it all sellers out? I mean, it's at the top. I know that it's big, but I'm talking about the wick only. So how long we should see the wick?
Not that long.
spreading out?
Not that long. Not that long. This could be a best one, because there is no weak. This much is good. This one is good, but not that one. This week is not good. Like not this one. Not this one. This is too much. The technique, behavioral wise, you think that it's a trap. If you image a trap to all sellers and all buyers, have you fallen into a chorabali? What is the English?
Yes, quicksand.
Quicksand. Have you fallen trap in a quicksand? Quicksand is like all sellers out. You don't understand the level. There is a difference between the low and the body, and you put your leg there and boom. Same concept, because trading is very natural. You have to just match those natural thing to trading, like all sellers out, all buyers out. Like Puru has asked a very good technical question: how big the week can be. I cannot define 30, 40, 80, 90. I cannot define. Yeah, it's very observational. It's very observational. I can only say you that it has to touch and close, like this one here.
But now with the close of how high taken off, can we need to have a limit order there now?
Okay. First of all, my other thing is, if it is a up bar and high taken out, we should be out, isn't it? So this is a down bar, correct? So Puru is saying, if this is the next bar is an up bar and high taken out, can we be out?
No, but should be, it has to be a bar. Or
Up bar.
you don't want to do the same
Rest
bar
of
and
it.
high taken out and not a bar.
Okay. How many of you, honestly, tell me, this has to be honest answer, otherwise you will never be a trader. How many of you, honestly, tell me, have read what I wrote on fifth on asset class evaluation on Euro Aussie on Saturday morning? How many?
So this
Head
and shoulder, no?
Yes. Puru read. Puru read. James, Anamitra, Pankaj, Binod, Sri. How many of you have read this N P Financial Review? Why on earth morning Saturday I would put this? So out of 3 here, out of 4 here, including me, Puru and Partha Banerjee have read this because Partha Banerjee wrote this. Alright. Now, how many of you? Let me go back to your data. Pankaj is said have not read it yet. Vinod says no. Sri says yes. So online 33% and in-house 50%. Now I'll tell you the secret. Why to read this every day, like you take medicines or vitamins? Because I saw 3 things and wrote one. What are the other 3 things? I saw EuroCAD head and shoulder, I saw Euro US head and shoulder, and I saw Euro Aussie head and shoulder. And I picked the best one I wrote here. Did you see EuroCAD and Euro US head and shoulder? Honest answer. Puru says no, James says no, Anamitra says no, and Pankaj, Binod, and Sri. Did you see head and shoulder on Euro CAD and Euro US? I'll come to the time frame. I am waiting for your answer. Say yes or no. Don't go to the chart and say yes. Oh, Pankaj say yes. And Binod and Sri. Pankaj, did you see both Euro CAD and Euro US? Well, Binod say no. Sri says no. And Pankaj say yes. And I'm waiting for Pankaj to tell me how many you saw. Both Euro CAD, Euro US, or only one? You there, Pankaj?
Yes, I didn't say Euro US. I saw the other two.
Okay, very good. Fantastic. Yeah. So at least 33% of the students are seeing what we are seeing. Pankaj saw something, Puru saw something, Puru read something, Pankaj read something. Okay, now let's go to the other things which we saw to answer Puru's question. Puru asked a simple question, but I am defining answering it in a long way. That is important. Long way is always the shortest way. Alright, EuroCAD. Let's make it weekly. This is the head and shoulder in front of you, EuroCAD. So this is the head on 19th of March, and this is the right shoulder on 23rd of April, and this is the neckline, and this is the break. Actually, it broke last week. See, if you keep the cursor here, if you cannot see because you have high power, the line is 155.65 and the close is 155.62. It closed 3 pips lower, and this low was taken this week. EuroCAD.
Date was 15 January.
I'm on a weekly chart.
Yeah, 8 January and
The head was 19th March,
the second line
and the neckline is on 8th of January
and what is the other one?
and on 9th of April. If you are not sure whether this low is lower or that low is lower, keep the cursor. It will tell you low is 63 and this is 66. No, 75. 12 pips.
But Parva, that is still inner bar. So why?
Who told you inner? Which one is an inner bar? First of all.
The 16th one. So to assume that another.
Hold on. 16th what? May, March,
16th April.
16th April. 16th April. I did not do anything on 16th April.
No, but to make that, to understand that is another.
This is swing low. Is it not a swing low?
Yes, but there are still two inner bars.
So what?
Inner bar and
What inner bar?
Assume that to make.
Oh, I'm not
shoulder.
assuming anything, no?
No, the shoulder is to be higher than the previous trough, that neck.
Shoulder has to be higher than the previous neck. Whose theory is this one?
No, the head and then the shoulder is on. The shoulder is lesser than the 9th April bar. It's not a swing high there.
This is not a swing high?
Because there is inner bar and then a swing high. So that's not a swing high.
Tell me technical, forget about inner outside.
Because
Tell me technical. How many of you believe that this is a swing high?
It is swing high.
It is a
bar
peak.
has taken.
Not only a swing high but also a peak.
But after this bar has created, which is today's this week's bar, then I would agree. 30 April bar, if you see, then that's right. Then that is has become a swing high.
No, I'm not. No, slow. You tell me, is this drawing correct or not? First of all, I'll answer. No, no, no.
Drawing might be correct. What I would not pick that as a shoulder because my eyes will not pick that as a shoulder.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I see that is still lesser than that the previous two bars. That is still
So
lower. So I
first
would
of all,
not
you
pick
tell me
that.
this is swing
I want
low.
a higher shoulder to see that.
No, no, no. First of all, this is a swing high. Yes or no?
Swing high, it is up bar, I can say.
Swing high. It's a swing
No,
high.
but if you see the 30.
I understand
on
what
that
you're
day,
saying.
Yeah, on that
What
bar I
Puru
would
is
not
no. What Puru is saying, this is a swing high. Yes, he is saying that Suru. Everyone knows this is, and he is adding to something that this high is not higher than this one. That's what he's saying.
That's right.
pick. Yes, I would not
Where
consider
from
that
you
as a
got this
shoulder.
theoretical understanding that this size has to be higher than this one? Where on earth NP Financials has written that? Show me. If you go to the asset class evaluation,
The reason why I'm saying because that is the previous is the inner bar, which I would ignore that. The previous is the
You're
inner
saying
bar.
the previous is a blue bar. It's not
Yeah,
a blue bar.
blue bar, which is the ignore bar. So I
Short
will
blue
ignore
bar
that. So I
because-
don't see as a shoulder correctly happening there. It's still.
I'm not getting your point. Shoulder is a shoulder if it is a swing high.
Yes, swing high. Correct.
It is a swing high. So it is a shoulder.
If I ignore that blue bar, then it is not a swing bar.
And I think you are confusing between peak and swing high. Yeah, now I understand your question. Puru is confusing between peak and swing high. This is not a peak. So considering this is not a peak, then this is not a left shoulder. If you are saying that, then I agree. But market is not perfect, as life is not perfect. So we consider swing high is good enough, and we know that for swing high this can be an inside bar. So technically this is a swing high, and technically this is a head and shoulder. But if you force yourself not to consider shoulder if it is not a peak, I leave it to you. That's an incorrect technical understanding. Alright, so this is Euro CAD. So everyone understood this head and shoulder? And then we'll go to Euro US. Let's go to Euro US. Where did I go? NK401. What is that? Euro slash USD. Why not going to Euro USD? Yeah, so this is another one, interesting one. Euro USD, this is the head, and this is the head on the 12th of February, and this is the shoulder on 26th of February, March, and this is the neckline, and as we speak, this is the break. So as we speak, we are having two break, Euro Aussie and Euro US, and Euro CAD happened at the start of the last week, that is Monday. So most importantly, what I saw, not only this structure, of course I have trained my eyes to see those structure, but most importantly I saw them at the top right hand corner of the chart. That is number one. All the bearish reversal has to happen at the top, not at the middle. So this is at the top right hand corner when they were happening, number one. So this is Euro US. I'll go to Euro Aussie, Euro CAD to show you that same thing. This is Euro CAD. This also happened at the top right hand corner, number one. Number two, this is having a context of previous resistance, beautiful. Number two, Euro CAD, previous resistance. Now I'll go to Euro US. Euro US, this is also happening at a previous resistance of 2, not only one but 2, this fellow and the previous one, that fellow. So previous resistance and top right hand corner, number 1, number 2, and after an uptrend. So this is happening after uptrend, number 3. So is true for Euro CAD. Let's go to Euro CAD. And Euro CAD also happening after an uptrend. So 3 of the first 4 criteria happened. So it has to be a bearish reversal, means it has to happen at the top right hand corner, number 1. Number 2, it has to happen at a resistance, that also happened. Number 3, it has to appear after a uptrend, number 3. So when all these three things are happening beautifully, then same thing for not, this is not that good but almost very good. This should actually happen here, and so that probably I'll get 70% marks here, and there is a resistance here which is also not very good, so I'll probably again give 70% mark to Euro US, Euro Aussie one, but it is definitely appearing after a uptrend. This is 100%. So Euro US got 3 out of 3, Euro CAD got 3 out of 3, and Euro Aussie got 2.7 out of 3. Out of those 3, I chose to put in our asset class evaluation only one. So if we are putting Euro Aussie, it is your duty, if you love to trade or if you want to earn to money, whatever the English is, by trading. So you should go back and see the other related or correlated currency pairs like Euro CAD, Euro US and Euro Aussie. Make sense? Question?
6th April you got one set up.
Which one?
6th April. Euro USD.
Yeah, I'll come to Puru. Pankaj is asking, it is correct drawing. Yes, Puru Pankaj is saying it is correct drawing. Yes, I 100% believe so, because do you always have to see head and shoulder at the top and bottom as well, just like double top? Always, 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 always. Now Puru is asking one question. Puru, which currency pair?
Euro USD.
Euro Aussie?
No, Euro USD.
Sorry, Euro USD. Go.
You got 6th or 8th April? Or 8th.
6th April is a set up
Now you
on.
said that 1%, but if you see that that is a S2, and before you enter into the trade, you wouldn't get to 1%. So it's difficult to get, because I had that trade there, but I could not close there properly. So
Yeah, because
you understand, because you saw another setup at the bottom S2 downside, but that 1% did not reach, and neither it touched the bottom there. So taking a downtrend was did not miss. I missed that trade.
so let's see. Well, this is the trade we took here,
Yes.
and this
You
is
did not enter there. No,
66.
but that was S2, so you entered at an upper position. So
Let's see on the upper position. What is that position? On this one here, which is 6th of April, the close is so okay. Tell me the 2TP entry here, please.
2273, 2373 plus 20. 2393.
Huh?
2393. That is the low of that bar. So
Entry should be
low plus 120.
low.
Sorry, not. You're looking at that one. So, yeah.
Tell me the number.
Low plus 120. So
Low?
it's already above, isn't it?
Low of this bar plus
Keep
20.
that one. Keep that one.
No, why? I will keep this one because it's a 2TP. Tell me the entry here.
High plus 2323 plus 2343.
2343. So we should enter at 2343. So let's enter at 2343. I'll make it perfect, and then we'll, stop loss is here 116 and 126 36, and Puru is saying they did not go up to 1%. Yes, and then we had a reversal here. So what is your question? You did not take this one?
That was still running, and yeah, and 1% wouldn't have closed. You said in a ranging market, so it should have closed 1%. It didn't actually happen that way.
Correct. So Puru's question is, it is in a rule says it is a ranging market, we should be out at 1%, and 1% did not happen. What should we do? Answer is, you wait for your cost of business to be over. So 1% loss is over, and then you reverse your position here. So you should reverse your position there.
Why did you pick, because the previous, you showed me the LCTP, you took the previous bar plus 120 or whatever, and this time you did S2, you did actual bar.
Yes, yeah. That's a good observation. So the previous bar I did 120 because there was a gap. If there is if there is a gap here, if there is a gap, then you take the previous bar. If there is no gap, you don't take any gap. That's a good observation. Very good. Good question.
So the low is not that time. Yeah, you have to wait for the bar to be finished. Right?
But to finish, always.
And that doesn't happen at the 4 hour time frame. So how we?
Always.
Huh?
Always. That's a wrong statement.
Exact time.
Long statement. Yeah, Puru is actually it's a very. This question again comes back again and again. Puru is asking a question. This does not happen in a 4 hour time frame. That's a wrong statement. All these bar will happen at the close of 4 hour, not consecutive 4 hours. Not consecutive 4 hours. So what are the 4 hours? Now 9, 13, 17, 21, 1, 5. Now let's see. Let's write it down so that you don't you forget, you don't ask me question again. Now this is 21. Agree? So 2100. Make it big. 2100. Now next one. This close 17. Is it falling within our rule?
Where did you get a close?
1700. Open or close, whatever it take. Because I am writing consecutively. So this is 21. This is 17. Next one 17. So I write 17. Next one 21. I write 21. Next bar 21. I write 21. Next bar 21. I write 21. Next bar 17. I write 17. Next bar 21. I write 21. Next bar 21. I write 21. So without fail, this bar, that's what we have designed. This bar, it must do two things. Every bar should have 50 pips, number one. Every bar should close on a multiple of 4 hour time frame, not consecutive but multiple of 4 hour. So if you study thousands of them, they will do the same thing, which I demonstrated in last 8 bars.
My question was like,
Yeah.
if suddenly there becomes a one big bar at, let's say, not at 4 hours consecutive, but at between, like, let's say it's not 17, 18, at 18, when you have a big bar down one, then you can see immediately 2 or 3 such
Possible.
range
Yes.
bars happening.
Possible.
So that time you are not on the screen, because if you are watching only 4 hours, then you already missed out that S2 whole thing. Because
Correct.
S2 bar created with 2 bars, then you are too late to enter.
Correct.
Unless you got a trigger. That's my.
Correct. Puru says when we are having a big movement, for example, if the big movement bars again happens most probably 7% of the time, not 93% of the time, like this one. This is a big bar. So this bar, 27th March, let's make it for 2 days, make it 4 hours. So like this bar, like this bar here. So this bar, if you see 26th April 2100, which is a 4 hour bar, tell me the range of this bar. Anyone who can calculate the range of this bar? Range is high minus low. Tell me the range. What is 104? 2210 minus 2106. 104. In this 104, how many range bar can happen? 2, not 1. That's what Puru is asking. So if this bar is 104, which is the biggest bar on this entire screen, this 104 bar will actually create 2 bars here. 50 bar here, 50 bar here. So when you come, you see this bar, not that bar, because you are not every hour you are seeing this bar, because you are not yet a full-time trader. A full-time trader will not miss this one, but a non-full-time trader will probably miss this bar. So in that case, you cannot help. You have to blame that you are a slave of your time. We all are. We all are slave of time, isn't it? Yeah, Puru's question is valid. Any other question? But this bar always closes at 4 hour time frame. But there can be multiple bars if the actual bar is more than 50 pips.
Before having a S2, does it give any other signal, like, to understand like S2 happening?
Yes, I don't know. Who wants to take this question? Not Partha Banerjee. Puru is asking, before it makes an S2, can we see some other criteria? Who wants to take this question? Anyone? You can go on mic. Yes, go, Pankaj.
See, the price line is touching the pivot. That's the indication of those
Okay.
more.
Price line is touching. This is price line is touching pivot. I don't know. Next. Anyone else?
And the present monthly pivot is lower than the previous.
Sorry?
Monthly pivot is, oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant. Oh, that's very nice. Sri actually has given us a very good answer. So what he's saying, that's good. I appreciate Sri, because you are doing full time trading. Your understanding has improved like others who are doing full time trading. What Sri is saying, if we put a price line, first of all, I'll put a second. He made two statements. I'll do the second first. So he's saying that if I go to the pivot points, pivot, and take this resistance out of the sequence, so invisible, correct me if I am wrong. I think that's what you were saying, Sri.
That's correct.
Invisible. Okay, so what Sri is saying, he is because this is an observation which we do on the our 6 month trader foundation course. So what we do, we have given this. Those of you who have not done this practice will probably not taking advantage of what the understanding is. So Sri is trying to say, if this month, which is starting on the Monday of first month, whatever the day is, if this month pivot is higher than the previous month pivot, if this month pivot is higher than the previous month pivot, then there is a probability of S2 to happen. Or if this month low pivot is lower than this previous month, like this way, very slow, very small, isn't it? Very subtle, very subtle. So that is an indication which can give you a pointer that S2 can come. So that is Sri. I appreciate your answer. Sri has said, did you understand, Puru, what Sri said?
Not fully. Can you just
Pivot.
example? No, pivot.
Previous, this pivot
Yeah, this
is higher than this. Then the price of, when you see this, you have not seen the right hand side, correct? You have not seen the right hand side when we saw that. So when we see the first bar on this, when we saw the first bar of the month, correct, we saw the pivot, because pivot comes on the first hour. So this pivot is higher than the previous pivot. So from our study and observation of the 6 months study which we have done, all of us have done it, we have, there is a tendency of price to go up. So we would probably not sell on any opportunity like this one.
S2 is happening. Like this S2 happened. So what does that trigger me that it's S2 is happening?
If S2 is happening,
not happen downside.
no. Well, Sri is saying if S2 is happening at the upside, because this is up, so there is a more probability that S2 will happen up. Let's see. There is no S2 on the downside. Let's see upside. So this close is 77.73. This close is 77.76. So this is an S2. This is a possible turning point.
Okay, so before touching the previous pivot, it is making a turn.
Correct.
So that is telling that
Correct. That's a very good practice task, Sri. You not only did it, but also you remembered it and you answered it. Very good, excellent. And see the subtlety of these two. Why I stopped here? Because my eye told me that this close is higher than this high. Okay, so that's very good. Number one. Number two, what Sri said, this is one. And number two, what Sri said is, if we pick a price line, let's see price line. All this has to be done on daily or 2 day, whatever you do. Setting, and then you do BAAA price line. BAAA price line. So you write BFF, and then PL. This is price line. Make it 27. I have not quite has this observation what Sri is saying. Sri is saying that the price line is playing with pivot, or what was that? Siri, can you explain what you said?
It went downside, so how we trigger that to go down? That much.
Let him say.
Yeah, the price line and the pivot on the current where we are now, it is acting as
Come close to the mic. We cannot hear you.
yeah. See, my observation is on this, it's a price line is just, floating at the
Yeah, kissing the
new.
pivot. Yeah, kissing the pivot. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a strong range market.
Wow.
Strong range market, and if we observe on the line chart, there's a pattern as well, the token pattern, right? And also the next, the current pivot is below the previous one, so the price has the probability is to go bearish. And the next one is like now the price line has exactly touched at the pivot, monthly pivot, so that acts the strong resistance as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Very good. Very well. Yeah, as you picked the hidden divergence, I would not have done that. This is also my honest answer. I would not have seen this price line kissing the pivot means a range market. So that's a fantastic observation, Sri, and a full credit to you. So I will. This gives me an opportunity to go back and do back testing on the behavior of pivot plus price line. If it is kissing going up and down, then it's a range market. Yeah, so probably you are correct. Yeah, James, you want to say
No, no,
something?
no, that's fine.
So,
Like this one here happened here, price line kissing the pivot. Go Puru.
or actually, what happened? Like when you see so many times this pivot line crossing, the price crossing, and then to pick up S2 because it had so many opportunities go up and down, and after that you lose the whole track. Then one day it does it, and that time you are not looking at that because you already lost your faith in that whole game. You understand? And then it goes so
No, I don't
down.
understand. That's why I
Say
laughed.
this one because you see on that date, if you go back to the price, go back to the bars.
Okay, no, that is Sri. What he
Yeah,
thought, he
his
said.
point is good. I understand that's what he said. But my question, I understand.
Still,
Answer,
yeah, I'll answer your question.
So because it's so many times. So after that, I did not do.
That's why he's saying it is a range market. He's correct.
So we need to do the backtesting of price line touching the pivot.
Yes, you can do
And
that.
then to see
Whether it is a range market or not.
and after range market what it is doing.
Yes, like this one here.
Yeah.
See this? It did happen actually.
But
See
after
this.
that, there is
This.
a big move, and where you need to know which S2 is the correct S2 because there where you otherwise don't miss that S2, then you lose the whole big.
Pankaj, you want to add something on the what Sri said? Sri, thank you very much.
No problem.
Pankaj wrote something. The resistance on Euro US are also coming from 161 weekly. Yeah, that's correct. All right. What so to answer that? Very good. Thank you, Sri. To answer your question, Puru, I think what I will add to what already Sri said is simple. What I have already written in the 3 months or 6 months. What my favorite is, so you have to see the S2 or S1 or anything, double bottom or double top, anything with a context and with a correct understanding. So my first understanding is the trend is a trend is a trend is a trend is a trend, thousands of years of trend unless and until it is breaking an important trend line. You remember me saying this 1,000 times? And what is this important trend line? Important trend line has to be in a monthly or a weekly, and it has to go for some time. So this fellow is an important trend line. So means what? From here to here, 15 months. 15 months the trend is up. Can you see that? So first break of an important, and this is a confirmed trend line because this has taken the high of this. So this is not only an important trend line because it is a monthly and 15 months, number one. It is a confirmed trend line, number two. And the break of an important trend line is the first impending signal of a downtrend. So that is number one. So around this point, which is 2080, I would be interested to see a 2TP entry. That is number one, to answer your question. Or go back to weekly and see the same thing. So what you need to see is, you delete this, you delete this. You need to see you need to first of all draw an important trend line. So let's see the draw. We have drawn this important trend line, and because it is too long a trend line, from this point to this point when it broke, it is 52 bars, 1 year. That is very good trend line, and it is a confirmed trend line. So you come back and do it, because this peak is taken out. So you have to do this confirmed trend line, and then that break itself is telling me that this is a this is a 2DP entry. So what I see, to add what Sri said and what others said, to add, I would see two things. I would see 2DP at the top, at the resistance, after an uptrend, and after a break of an important trend line. So these are the things which I need to see. Very good, thank you. I'll go to GBP AUD.
Actually,
Okay.
kids are waiting now.
নিয়ে এসো ওদের,
ও ওরা
ওরাও শিখবে।
কপি নিয়ে আসবে, কপি নিয়ে এসছে বাবা।
কপি এখানে বেঁধে দেবে।
হ্যাঁ দিতে হবে।
আচ্ছা।
1.5 ঘন্টা হয়ে গেছে, নাহলে ওরা সরি দাদা।
No problem.
নেক্সট উইক।
Next.
they wanted to come
এইরকম হলে এখানে নিয়ে আসবে বাচ্চাদের।
ওকে নেক্সট টাইম নিয়ে আসবো।
চকলেট আছে, দিয়ে দেবো। চকলেট খাবে, ওখানে খেলার ঘর আছে, টিভি আছে, ব্রেকআউট রুমে।
আমি জানতাম না তো, নেক্সট টাইম নিয়ে আসবো।
ব্রেকআউট রুমে তো বাচ্চারা থাকে, পুরো দিন থাকে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
এখানে যারা বাবা মারা কাজ করে, সরি আই এম স্পিকিং ইন বেঙ্গলি, parents working here 9 to 5, they have their kids playing in the breakout room for 4-5 hours.
Fantastic. Then I'll bring them along.
We have TV, we have chocolate, everything.
Next time definitely দাদা।
Thank you, thanks for your time.
No, thank you so much.
GBP AUD. So first one is on 6th April, second one is on 30th April. Your questions. James has left because his kids are waiting downstairs, and Pankaj, Sri was great there. Yeah, Sri was fantastic actually today. Every day is good, but today it was fantastic, because he said something brilliant on the hidden divergence and something brilliant on the pivot being lesser than the previous month, and behavior of pivot plus price line. That's very good. GBP AUD, any question? Sri is saying line chart uses range bar equal to 50 pips. Yes, for Forex, not for commodity, not for any other asset class, but for Forex, we have the line chart as 50 pips, Sri. Did I miss any question on Pankaj? Sri says thank you. Should I go back to your question on Fibonacci? Is it a question or is it a statement, Pankaj? You tell me. Comment. Okay, that's good. Okay, GBP AUD, any question?
26 April will not take a, even though it's after you, it's the beginning, but why you will not take a trade there?
Come again?
26 April to go
Short? Yeah, you
it's
can.
RR issue, but
Yeah.
the pivot is there in the start of that trade.
Yep.
So will you go with that trend or not?
Puru is saying is 26th April is a short trade. In the hindsight, it is yes, but it was having some big bar and reward to risk. That's why I wrote reward to risk, and there was a humongous gap here. So whenever there is a gap on the line chart, there is a possibility that gap will be filled in. Not always, most of the time. So if there is a gap here, it did not fill. It went up to only 50% if you draw a Fibonacci. So from this point to the gap, it actually came down 50%. If the sellers are in control or eager or very highly willing, they will not wait for price to go up to 50%, but they will definitely have to wait for price to go up to 38, otherwise it is nothing. So in this case, as you can see, it did not go up to 50, not to 61, not to 78, but went up to 38 and then came down with a turning point. So if you have not entered here because there's a big gap and you think the gap will be filled in 100% of the time, not like this one filled in, like this one filled in, like this one filled in, like this one filled in. Most of the gaps will be filled in, like this one filled in, but this gap is not yet filled in. So in that case, what you have to do, don't take this big jump because it's a gap. Then possibly wait for the reversal, possibly on this one, which happened on the 30th April from 38.2 Fibonacci.
This is the next trade on 28, I guess.
On this one here,
30.
30th.
So 30, the low was not taken out. So why?
LCTP, that's one LCTP trade. The one which I explained just now. This one.
So that is a good trade.
Yeah, that's a good trade. This is a continuation. So I hope you remember the reversal and the continuation, and I'm not forgotten. So this is an LCTP continuation, and this is a LCTP reversal. So why this is a continuation? Because it has already broken the T1 and it has already broken the T2. That's why it is a continuation. This is a reversal because it is happening at the top. So there is a difference between LCTP reversal and LCTP continuation. So this is a continuation and that is a continuation again on this one. This is a continuation. So all are LCTP, but this is a continuation. This is a
LCTP bar, you were low of that bar and took the entry, or you can do on the reverse bar that entry.
Yes.
-20. Yeah.
You are saying this one.
Yeah,
That's correct. Puru is saying, can we enter here? I say yes, because it's a 38% reversal and a gap and a triple top, so on and so forth. Every entry, every question you ask is a context dependent. That's why I always say, tell me the instrument, tell me the time frame, tell me the strategy, because everything is context dependent. Any other question on GBPFD? And if you see this block here, this is a good observation in front of you. I am making. This is a block here, which is a block of how many months, how many days, how many weeks? Actually block here. So which is 43 bars from 22nd March to 27th April, more than 1 month. So if you see a block of this kind, so then you measure the block. So the measurement of the block is from here to here, which is 268 pips. Then you penetrate 268 pips. That should be your target. So you should be thinking to close unless and until you see any reversal, or it can be closing below and low taken out. So that also can happen. So that's a block, and this is the technical interpretation of taking advantage of that block. Puru asking question.
Normally it doesn't happen snap after such a long block break. Normally it will not have snapback. Even have a snap, it will be just a replacement.
Yeah, Puru is saying, is there a probability? Is there a high probability that it will snap back after that block? Probably the observation is opposite. It will not do that because people are waiting for this market to go short for 1 month almost. Alright, GBP CHF. Any question you asked here?
The same thing happened when such a block, one single bar closes everything, which is normally not a good bar to go anywhere. It's from stop to strike after the whole one bar.
If it is not a big bar, then fine. If it is a big bar, then bad. If it is a small bar, then fine. Even if it is a single bar. Sri saying, when the upper Bollinger Band or lower Bollinger Band touches the Fibonacci level or pivot, can it be considered potential resistance support? Yes. Then observe reversal on the bar chart with 10 signal. Yes. To answer that question is very good. Yeah, this is actually similar thinking. Similar thinking to what we already discussed. He's saying that instead of price line, he's saying that if we have a Bollinger Band touching the pivot. So that's a very good observation. This observation I also did, and that's a correct observation. So if he is saying that observation does not happen very often, though I have to struggle to find one. So for example, like this one here, the Bollinger Band and the pivot are very close, and this one here, Bollinger Band and pivot are very close. So that's a correct observation.
It is S2 then it will go.
So yes, Sri, you are correct. That's a good observation. GBP CHF, any question? We have one trade on 2nd April. We have one trade on 26th April. This will actually work very well on the long side because it is an uptrend. It is very long. It is uptrend from this date, which is 7th of October 2016. Donald Trump elected on November, so it is going up. And
this previous 5th of March also was still running till the
5th of March, this fellow.
5th of March. But you close and again you re-entered again. That was a bit of
Yeah.
I mean, why you thought again? It's already all seller, all buyers out were there, and again you thought of going again on that same.
I don't understand your question.
It was 5 March. You would have closed it on the all buyers out.
This fellow.
No, yeah,
All
on that one, maybe on 2 bars.
Maybe this low taken out of this fellow.
Yeah, maybe that one.
Yeah.
And again within 2 days, again you are going the same, which is already all buyers out, which is SS to take on that.
All buyers out. Where is the all buyers out?
So why did
Are you
close
sleeping
on-
or what?
No, but you did not close on all buyers out. Or that
Yeah.
time on that
The,
day?
first of all, forget about close. With close has to be done here, low taken out, or this one. That's what you're saying, correct? Now you are asking that is this all buyers out? Is it?
No, no. Again, why you are entering on that?
Why shouldn't I? Because this is an uptrend.
When you had a decision of closing all your previous trade and then
This is a new month. New month, new trade in the direction of the trade. Yes, 100% yes. Always, always. Even if you lose money here, you should you should have the courage to enter there. Otherwise, you will have that disposition effect and you will not make money. In an uptrend, always take long trade till it is breaking T1, T2. Even if you are having difficult period like this difficult period will come on. Of course, this difficult period will come, or this difficult period will come. Of course, that will come.
if you had a position on waiting for some, do you normally close the trade or leave it like that?
Leave it like that if you are in the direction of the trend.
In the right hand.
If you are in the counter trend, close that. So, if you do not have any question on GBP CHF, I'll go to GBP USD.
Sir, I had GBP CHF on 12 hourly
Yeah.
cost of business on 26th of April.
What does it mean? You expect no cost of business on?
No. I mean, just I want to understand.
There will be many trades which will be cost of business. Okay, GBP CHF 12 hour. Which one you had cost of business?
12 hourly.
Yes, this is 12 hour in front of you.
26th of April.
Huh?
26th.
This one here. You had
Yeah.
this one here. You have cost of business. You are asking whether it is a correct trade or not.
That's correct.
Yes, this is a correct trade.
Okay.
And before that, I'll ask you: have you taken these 3 trades in the direction of the trade?
Yes.
You took all the 3,
Yeah.
and you got one cost of business here.
That's correct.
Fantastic. Good. Next question. You are asking any other question?
No, that's
Okay, that's fine. So if your question on this, whether this is a valid trade or not, yes, answer is yes. Any other question on 12? 12 only was brilliant on last month actually.
Will you scale it 1% after some distance, like CBC was going strong? So you still want to do 1%. At what point you decide whether to go 0.5 or not?
Same thing. Breakup trend line, meeting resistance line, double top at the top right hand corner. Same thing.
No, scaling. I'm talking about when add the next position we are adding on that one. So should I go for 1% or 0.5? On what criteria I decide that?
Yeah, Puru is asking in a strong trend on the scaling or pyramiding, should it add 0.5% or 1%? The actually answer is it depends on the that time running portfolio risk. If that time portfolio risk is at 2.5, sorry, 2.5 and your portfolio risk is 3%, you cannot take 1%. So portfolio risk is always a running thing.
Or you have your close position in positive, if
Yes.
you can take 1%?
Correct.
10%.
Correct. So if you have taken 4 trades and all your trades are profit, so you have zero exposure, zero risk. Then in that case you will have 1% trade. GBP USD. GBP USD did fantastic, as you can see in front of you. One on this one here, 6th of April, and one on this one here,
That was
18th of April. Come again?
That was a shocking down.
Not shocking. This is in H2. Why
No,
H2
but
is a
when
shocking?
an uptrend and you see sudden that will demoralize.
Demoral. No.
Uptrend and taking again going for a short, then you say, oh,
No. So I told you in a downtrend, if it is touching for the first time Bollinger, then it is a problem. So it did not touch the first time, but it also took the low for the first time. Can you see that? The low is taken out for the first time. So even if you change this to price bar,
but touching is so many times.
yeah, but the low was not taken out. That's what I'm saying. So this low is not taken out. This low is not taken out, but this low is taken out. So I was bearish from here. I was bearish from here. That shocking what you were said is not shocking because it took the low here.
You regret not closing the trade when
Yeah,
something happens like that.
absolutely. That's why
If all
following
your,
technical.
turns down and then you are in a situation where you have to come out of that and take another opposite trade, which is challenging.
For an amateur, it is challenging.
Chameleon.
Chameleon here. For a professional, it is nothing. Nothing. I have taken so many trades
Going one way and
one
then
way
the
and
other.
then reversing immediately in another way. Immediately. I don't think.
But does it give a signal like something happens on GBP, then it gives signal for all other currencies also that something is major going to happen the opposite way?
GBP, Aussie, GBP,
Yeah, so you have to
CHF.
be careful, like you have to close your position if you have a good all sellers or you take seriously that.
Yeah. Why we close everything Aussie, Euro, Aussie US, Euro US, and USD JPY on the same day? Same thing. We saw some weakness on USD yen, possible crack and snapback which happened, and we close everything. If you study actually, you ask Anamitra or you ask Pankaj how many books they have studied. You need to study. I have studied more than 500 books on this trading and psychology and brain. 500. If you go back to 1900, how the traders traded that time. That time there was no technical analysis. That time trader who was making millionaire trader like Richard Dennis or something like that, some people like them, if a taxi driver or a shoe policeman
He would go sell it.
started talking about he knows it,
And then he'd go sell it.
they started talking about shares and they have $1 million exposure, they will go to their office, close everything. So that is this sentiment. What you are now talking technically, they used to do in a different way. Taxi driver or shoe police man. Isn't it? Where did you read that?
It's in one of the books I read.
One of the books you read,
Close the
Anamitra.
position, there the more buyers become.
It says it becomes so commonplace and everybody starts talking. That means the
Market
market
is
is
at
at its
its
peak.
peak.
So
Yeah.
get out of it because it's going to crash after that.
Exactly.
Same thing Bitcoin happened. Because when it came in the news,
So Bitcoin is gone now, is it? Bitcoin's down.
When I went to India, Bitcoin was 18,000, 20,000, and everyone was because everyone was crazy why I'm doing this for 8 years, but everyone is also crazy why how I am surviving doing this. So they started asking me, do I buy Bitcoin, do I buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I said I don't know. Don't ask me that question. Puru asked me every time, do I close this trade? I said don't ask me that question. I'll never answer that question. So everyone asked me, will it go to 50,000? Paper is telling me 50,000.
Sell.
I said I don't know anything, but it may collapse. And after coming back from India, Puru said, what is happening to Bitcoin? Bitcoin was that time 18,000. Puru asked me that question. I said it may go up to say 5,000. I just it's a hunch. Actually, it came down to 6,000.
Everyone starts speaking, give back.
That's it. So that's the psychology. Very strong psychology. Extremely strong. So if you see this, yeah, coming back to Puru's question, if you see this, then sell everything what you have in the long on the GBP, GBP AUD, GBP CHA, and be a chameleon, reverse your position. But remember, market is right every time, each time, every time.
This FOMC news was very less.
No, no, no.
Before that, what did you?
No, no, no. This is because
No, not that one. No, that one was, I don't know.
no. This is because there was a talk in the month of March that the Reserve Bank of Britain would increase their interest rate possibly in the month of May. That's why GBP was going up. But on that day, the news came that they are thinking twice to go increase their interest rate. That's why it plummeted.
But the FOMC was that.
FOMC was there.
Yes, no, that last week. So how did you manage your portfolio?
I don't see FOMC nowadays. I don't see any news.
Because there was moments of happening, volatility happening. So you.
I have told myself 1 year back that all news is history, so don't listen to news. News is always history because someone will die today, the news will come tomorrow. Rough rice, there is a flood today, the news will come tomorrow. So it's always history. News is always history. So I have stopped seeing or listening to any news, including FOMC. Alright, last currency pair USD JPY in front of you. We have USD JPY did very good last month, 4th of April and 18th of April. Your questions.
Is it S2 now?
Puru is asking, is it S2
LCTP.
LCTP? No, because the open and close is not below the line.
You had your other positions closed on.
Yeah, I closed it.
On the 24th of April.
I closed in on one understanding that there is a possible crack and snap back happening on the daily chart, which I will going to go show you on the 200 moving average. So that's what I saw. So this is the 200 moving average, and that was the day when I closed my position. Just not that day, next day when bar opens here, and I saw immediately there is a possible crack and snap happened, I closed it here.
But it is still above the so why?
But that is the crack and snap back best position to happen, like this happened. This is close below. Now the crack and snap back happening, closing below, low taking out and then reversing. Close above, high taken out and reversing. So if you observe this, 10 years, if you go back to 10 years back, crack and snap back would be very different from crack and snap back what is now. So if you go back to whatever and see the crack and behavior of crack and snap back is 1994 and see the crack and snap back behavior on today would be very different. So now the crack and snap back, because more and more retail traders are coming now, so the crack and snap back will happen, close above, high taken out and then close below and low taken out. So I
can't see your screen.
Why? What did I do? Let's see.
Support N P Financials left the group.
Woohoo! Support NP Financials. I did not do anything. Same thing with Sri and Binod.
Yes.
I am still sharing my screen. Present, yes. Yeah. What I'll do, I'll stop it and again share it. What about now? Can you refresh?
You have to send the link again or something because it says you've left this group.
No, I'm very much there because I have not closed the conversation. So in that case, I have to close the conversation and then restart again.
Maybe
This is
that's
last
the
question.
time.
Or I would request you to please bear with us and go to USD JPY and see the daily chart and the 200 moving average. And I am explaining the Kraken snapback situation on 3rd of May because we have already exceeded the time by 2 minutes, so I don't want to do that. So
You're back now, so your screen should be back.
Yeah, so can you see my screen? Because I have already shared the screen. If you cannot see the screen, that's fine, because this is the last question we are discussing. Please go to USD JPY daily time frame and see the last 3 days behavior on the 200 moving average. So that's a Kraken snapback. That's the last question.
So should we not go long from here?
No. We should wait for the close above 200 and high taken out on the daily chart.
So that is not at the top right now.
Yeah, that's correct. So you have to wait for this one to go up, close above and high taken out. Because the head and shoulder is still valid actually. Head and shoulder is still valid because the neckline is not broken. The neckline is still not broken. The head and shoulder is still valid. Alright, so with this we'll close our analysis. Thank you so much for your wonderful questions and brilliant understanding. I really enjoyed thoroughly, and I'll talk to you in your questions. If you have any questions, email us. Otherwise, bye for now. Thank you. Connection was not, that's why. Thank you, Puru. Thank you, Vana Mitra.
Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
Puru, when did you leave? Like you said, you left your job.
I left this month.
Right. So you have to give notice and all that for a few months. And what did they say? Don't do that. Come back.
No, they were offering me to come back to Russia, but I thought like I already had gone through.
Russia
I don't want to go to Russia again.
So they didn't have an opening here.
No, they didn't. And anyway, I thought anyway sooner or later I'll be turning into this way. So at some point I wanted to do this. So
And are you married?
Yes.
You have a wife and kids.
Yeah.
And your wife didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You see,
Do
that
not
is
get
where I'm
suffered. That
getting
is
to.
the
How
main
did
thing.
she